Yep. What is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast with this weekly live episode. Again, out of like a bad habit with my man, Cricket, in the house, baby. What is up, Cricket?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I'm good. Ready to talk some football. How's your week going, man?
We going all right, man. Listen, but I want to focus on you, man. Listen, if nobody knows yet, and if you don't follow me or you don't follow him, you actually got to follow him because you don't like money if you don't follow him. This man has been on one type of heater right now for the last 2 weeks that very few little individuals in this industry are on, bookies, whatever you want to call them, bro. Tell them a little bit about your heater right now the past couple of weeks, man. People got to tell your ass.
Man, it feels good right now. I like it when these streaks happen like this, man. But I'm 19-5 and 1 against the spread the last 2 weeks. So yeah, just kind of feeling it right now, man. Got a pretty good grip on. I'm just gonna try to keep it rolling. I know I'm one of those people. I'm a numbers guy. I know there's a setback coming, but I'm gonna ride this wave as long as it'll go, man.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, man, you're on some kind of streak here. It's, it's not even funny. Talking about a streak.
We'll try to keep it rolling.
Yeah. Hey, listen, no, I'm telling you, everybody, just follow him on Twitter because this man is one of the few individuals that gives like not just 1 or 2 free picks of the day or whatever that bullshit is. This guy gives you like a whole freaking lineup, college, NFL, fantasy lineups. This is the guy you want to follow on Twitter, brother, because you're not going to be sorry. You're not going to regret it.
My man, I appreciate that, brother.
Nah, no problem. But you know who's not going to regret this right now and who is on a heater themselves? My man, fucking 49ers. What can this team do wrong or not do wrong? They are just on a different level. Brock hasn't lost in a single regular season start. McCaffrey is, to me, having the best start of any of his seasons, and that is insane because this guy's one of the best top running backs of the last 6-7 years. You got to put this kid in the MVP talk, man. What do you think of the 49ers, the team to beat in my book?
Man, this guy, like you said, you had the thumbnail, man. He is a cheat code. I don't understand how this guy gets out of he's not an overly big guy. I know he's a strong guy, but he is out there taking these shots, banging it with these guys, making that one little touchdown he had last week, and the little swing route out to the side where he hurdled a couple guys, tiptoed, stay in bounds. I mean, this guy is just fun to watch. The 49ers as a whole are fun to watch. The defense is solid. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. We thought the Arizona Cardinals were going to be bottom of the barrel, one of the worst teams in the league. Everybody was already locking them in for the number 1 pick and all that stuff. This is not a terrible football team. They go in and week out. They compete. Josh Dobbs is playing some good football for this team. James Conner is kind of a machine, man. I don't know how that guy continues to do it, but I like what he does. And I know he didn't have a great game on Sunday, but he's still averaging over 4.5 yards a carry. I mean, I like what they're doing. Hollywood Brown looking pretty good out there. Zach Ertz had, I think, 6 catches this week. I like what the Cardinals are doing. I know it's more about the 49ers, and they're one of the best teams in football, but I just got to give credit where credit is due. I'm impressed with what I've seen out of the Arizona Cardinals so far.
Listen, the Cardinals are playing competitive. They're playing watchable football, which nobody thought that was going to be, unlike my Giants. It's going to be a lot of Giant bashing today. I'm going to throw a lot of fucking Giant stuff throughout the whole day before we get to that team, which is Monday night. But again, unlike my Giants, this team puts up points. This team actually defends, all right? It doesn't seem by the score, but this game was pretty freaking close to 3 quarters, okay? Yeah. Even though San Francisco, like every single week, they go up big. And then, the resiliency. The team is a resilient team with Josh Dobbs there. I mean, if you're Arizona Cardinals, the future is bright. Maybe this is not your quarterback of the future, which, by the way, somebody's going to pick this guy up and pay him some money because they're going to need a starter or a freaking nice backup. But Connor's been playing insane. Every week you have some resurgence from another player. This week was Michael Wilson, 2 touchdowns, 7 receptions, 76 yards. I mean, look, there's nothing to ask more about a team who nobody saw anything coming for than the way they're playing week after week. right? Or the Arizona Cardinals. That's who they are.
I agree, man. I love Josh Dobbs, and he is a Vol legend. Threw the Hail Mary to Jawan Jennings to defeat
Yep.
Georgia down between the hedges back in 16, man. I love Josh Dobbs. I love seeing him get his shot. I love seeing him playing well. Like you said, I think there's a lot of teams out there with worse quarterbacks than Josh Dobbs right now, and somebody's going to have to really kind of take notice of this guy and give him a real shot, man, because I don't think he's the quarterback of the future for the Cardinals, but he's doing a great job right now filling in. But somebody needs to take notice because this man can play some football.
Oh, absolutely. This is a guy that you want in your lineup, man, as a backup, because eventually, if your quarterback gets hurt, this guy can lead your team as a stopgap. So now,
he's a brilliant guy, man. Brilliant guy. He's an aeronautical engineer.
Oh my gosh, this is like, oh man, I hate keep bringing the Fitzpatrick reference to all these backup quarterbacks, but this guy's as smart as Fitzpatrick, who went through Harvard, my friend. You know what I'm saying?
He straight up wants to build rocket ships, man.
Hey, look at this, bro. this guy. Oh my, hey, there's something to be said about these smart quarterbacks. They find themselves in and out of the league, or back more in the league than out. So it's a good thing.
I'm just saying, man, you got to be an intelligent guy to run an NFL offense. So it helps having a genius out there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you know what? Talking about a genius, bro, the genius performance by McCaffrey. 4 total touchdowns, rushed for 3 of them, 20 carries. Insane. Broke Jerry Rice tied Jerry Rice. I'm sorry, his franchise record for 12 consecutive games with a touchdown. That's pretty impressive.
I think it's 13 now.
13. Yeah, that's right. 13. 13. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. Let me take a look at my notes. I should have looked at my notes before I said that, but it is 13 straight games with a touchdown. This kid is built different. And what's crazy about these 49ers, not to keep beating a dead horse, pick your poison. Debo did not have a single freaking catch after leading the team in receptions and having a great game last week. And they still won decisively against a team they're supposed to beat up. That's how good this freaking team is, because McCaffrey had 7 receptions, Brandon back, 6 receptions, 148 yards. This offense is such a well-oiled machine with not a lot of flash. Just come into work, do your thing, run your offense, don't make any mistakes, and slap people around both sides of the football.
Brandon Ayuk's a football player, man.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yes. I like that guy. He made some incredible catches, fingertip catches, strong hands, man. He got some strong hands. That boy can play. I've been watching him play since he was at Arizona State back in the day. I like Brandon Ayuk a lot. Been kind of waiting for this coming out party for a couple years now. That boy can play some football, man.
That's true. That's true. I mean, great game. You know who else can play some football, cricket? And they showed it this week? Josh Allen and the Buffalo fucking Bills. We both called it last week. We have a feeling that we're going to take the Buffalo Bills in the points. That was like last Tuesday. We both kind of agreed on that. It was called, we reinforced it again in Wake and Rake that Monday. But one thing Josh Allen and those Buffalo Bills and Diggs said, listen, guys, I need you to remind everybody that the AFC still goes through Buffalo. And they did prove it, at least for last week. What a game. What a game by Allen. Statement game. What do you think?
That's a good football team. People don't understand. Everybody talked about that Miami offense, and Buffalo got a pretty good offense too. But what people weren't talking about is that how Buffalo had the number 2 scoring defense in the NFL, and it held a team that just put up 70 on the hapless Denver Broncos to 20 points. Most of them early on. They didn't really the last 3 quarters of that game. Miami didn't do much of nothing. And
listen, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
I just never could understand how a team that put up 70 points is a dog the next week. It just doesn't make any sense to me right there. So that's why I was all over the Bills. I was like, somebody knows something right here, man. But no reason a team puts up 70. Do you know that teams that put up 60-plus points in an NFL game are now 1-7 the following week?
You mentioned that stat on Wake and Rake. They were 1-5. Another reason to reinforce and go with Buffalo. I mean, Josh Allen owns the Miami Dolphins. All right. Against the Dolphins, Josh Allen is a quarterback that has the most completions, passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, and wins against the Dolphins. He owns them. I mean, he is Miami's daddy. No, the Dolphins' daddy. No doubt about it, dude. It's just that simple. I mean, 4 touchdowns, 320 yards, rush for another one. He just had himself a huge monster game, and it was not even a contest, dude. They get up. It was a quick back and forth, but they just went in there, slap him in the mouth, punch him again. They try to get up and beat him down again, and that's it. They just knew what to do against this Miami offense.
Yeah, man. Played great. Really looked good. I'm diving into it a little more that way. I know they got to travel to London this week. The Jaguars have been over there for And then Ty, they'll be over there for 2 weeks. They were there last week when they played. They stayed the whole week, so their body clock's going to be kind of on point.
Yep.
I'm kind of looking at maybe fading the Bills this week.
Mhm.
I hadn't decided for sure yet. It might be one of those I have to see through and just understand that the Bills are the better football team. But all that travel and all the different things coming off a big win at home against Miami and a really hyped up game, I think I might be fading the Bills this week. I got to dive into it a little more, and we'll decide that as the week goes on. But it's just something I'm looking at right now.
And then also a big hit. They also got a huge loss this week as well on defense. Tre'Davious White, right, out for the season.
Yep. Torn Achilles, man. We gotta look into. I think there really is something to these guys coming back off these torn ACLs and having to put too much stress on that other Achilles or something like that. You've seen multiple guys now come back from ACL injuries and within 2 years tearing Achilles. There's got to be something in that, man. I'm seeing more and more of that, and you know, my buddy Will had said something about it on the morning show, and I think there might be actually be something to that because you're seeing a lot of this day and age.
And like you said, people slept on that defense, even though they have number one scoring defense out there. They did what they were supposed to do, right? The two biggest weapons for Miami, they slowed them down. How do you slow Tyreek Hill? How do you slow speed? By being physical, and that's what they did with Tyreek and and Waddle. So they let Devon Achney actually what the guy can't even fucking pronounce his name. Ashney. What
I think it's Achan. I think
they Achan or Achu or whatever the hell it is. Achan, or Achan.
After he had 200 yards, man, he taught people how to say his name. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, 8 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. I was like, hey, Miami's explosive from a lot of different phases of this game. Well, they're only going to be explosive on one. We're going to shut down the other 2, and that's how you beat Miami. And guess what, dude? Tua, for the first time all season, was knocked down to the ground multiple times.
Yeah,
they do what you need to do to Tua. Tua has a quick release, right? He get the ball up quick when those plays are running well. They made him get off the ball even quicker because he had no other option, and that's how you beat a good offense and like the Miami Dolphins.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, man, and who was another good offense today? I mean, this weekend, the fucking dude. It was a good game though. The Eagles and the Commanders, man. I that shocked me. I didn't think it was gonna be that close. It was an overtime game, right? And the Eagles duo of Jalen and AJ Brown, man, they showed up. They showed up and showed out big time. It's the Eagles, again, they're still not looking like that same team from last year, but the fact that they're undefeated and they're winning, it's scary because they haven't hit their stride yet, and I think people need to start fucking worrying about them.
I agree with you 100%, man. They're playing still about C+ football, maybe, sitting there at 4-0. The Commanders, this was one of my losses last weekend, man. I had 2 losses last week, and this was one of them. And me and Steps and Will had talked about it Friday, and I said for some reason it feels funny, man. The Commanders, I kind of let them talk me into it there because it just after a team gets beat 37-3, I felt like this should be definitely at least be a double-digit point spread up there, closer to probably 2 touchdowns. The way the Eagles look versus the way the Commanders look, so it just kind of felt funny as it kept creeping down there. And I think it wound up at right about 7.5 to 8 in most spots. Commanders played well, man. They're not a terrible football team. They're going to have games they just get outmatched in. And if they don't start off hot, kind of like they did in this game, they tend to fall behind and get beat down. That's what happened to them against Buffalo. But this is not a terrible football team. Another one like the Cardinals, man. We got to kind of give credit where credit is due because people expect them to be bottom of the barrel. And they're actually playing some pretty good football against some other really good football teams.
Absolutely. You got to tip your hat to them. Give credit where credit is due, like you mentioned. The Commanders are playing really good football. Again, Howell is a tough guy. Still gonna making some mistakes. He still has to kind of get used to the speed of the game. But they are 2-2. Brian Robertson found the end zone for them. That was kind of like a big highlight. But that they have to get it going on the wide receiver side. I mean, Terry McLaurin had a good game, could not find the end zone. Jahan Dotson actually is promising from a fantasy standpoint because everybody was high on Jahan this year, thinking he was gonna get off early on, right from the beginning of the season, based on how he ended last season, which has been a little disappointing. But he did find the end zone for the first time this season, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or maybe the second.
He did. He did. He got in there.
He got in there. But with the Eagles, man, I mean, look, Jalen does what he does best. He actually had his best all-around game of the season. He passed for over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know what they do when it's like 4-1. He's going to go ahead and get that 1 yard and get that first down. You know what I mean? The big story of the game offensively was definitely AJ Brown. I mean, 175 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. His first 175-yard game and 2 touchdown game of his career. Last 2 games after bitching so much and saying that he was not getting the ball, they started throwing him the ball. And you know what? Devontae Smith still had a decent game. Didn't find the end zone, but still had seven receptions, bro. 9 targets, 78 yards. I mean, this team has so much talent that it's gonna be hard to beat this team. They're like right there, man. I got them right after the 49ers.
Everybody talked about how good the AFC was coming into this thing, but I
Mhm.
think the cream of the crop is in the NFC with the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Another team like the 49ers that has so much talent on the offensive side of the ball. DeAndre Swift playing well behind a great offensive line. You got Jalen Hurts, who's going to wind up being an MVP candidate like he is every year, or has been the last couple of years
Yep.
anyway. And then you look outside, you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith out there. A.J. Brown, like you said, man, kind of pouting a little bit. Now he's
Mhm.
starting to get the rock thrown his way. Looking good, man. That offense is looking good. Still not playing their best football and still sitting at 4-0. I think it's only going to get better for the Eagles, man.
Yeah, that's true. I think the Eagles, again, they are. You said C plus more or less. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to give them like a B minus, right? Because they're not
That's
playing
fair.
the
That's
way they
fair.
played. Because I think they didn't. This is their best complete game of the season, regardless. I mean, not so much from the defensive side, but offensively, this is the best game I think they had
Yeah.
overall between running the football. That same kind of balance they had last year, when when they were just destroying everybody. It was an easy schedule, but hey, it doesn't matter. They're freaking 4-0. Put some respect on the Eagles' name, as
And
much as I hate to say that.
there's only two teams that have started out 4-0 after losing the Super Bowl the year before. This Eagles team and the 1998 Green Bay Packers, who did go
Ooh,
on to win the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, right
wow,
there. So
wow.
we'll see. But the history bodes well for them at this point.
Yeah, it's only going to happen once before. So hey, it's about maybe they're going to be the second, right? Win the Super Bowl
Maybe
after
their team of
losing.
destiny, man.
That's true. That's true. They do have the horses. They do have the horses to compete,
They
make
definitely
that
have
run.
the horses.
You know, the only thing that's standing in front of them is a big wall called San Francisco, and injuries is the only deficit here. So because I see a collision course of those two meeting again in the NFC Championship.
I think you are correct, sir. I hope we do, man, because
Me too.
that'll be worth the price of admission for sure.
I want to see Brock Purdy and a healthy 49ers team have a shot this time
Yeah.
around. So
Yeah, that would be fun to see, man.
yeah, you know who's giving himself a shot over and over again? Puka Nakua, my friend.
Oh, my
This
guy,
dude,
man. I love this guy.
what's up with this dude? What a game, man! He delivers a clutch catch in overtime for the Rams to get the first win of the year against a good Indiana team. I mean, the last 4 games, this kid has been 39 receptions, 125 yards per game. That's never been done before. First time
Never.
ever. All right, through the
Never.
start of a career of a rookie wide receiver, most catches ever in a wide receiver's first 4 games ever, dude. Come on, man.
By a
Puka
lot, too,
is,
man.
yeah, that's right.
He's got 39. I think the next closest in their first 4 games was 30, if I'm
Yeah, I
not
think so.
mistaken, right
I
there,
think so.
man.
I didn't look that up, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, Puka is playing great. Kyron freaking William is up there as the biggest fantasy surprise of the year. 25 carries at 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's why Cam Akers is no longer gone. I think he's I think he after McCaffrey, he's right there, right? Top wide
Yeah,
receiver 2, definitely top 5, right? This season so
yeah,
far in fantasy.
yeah. Playing great, man. Playing
Yeah.
great football. I like this. I like to see this out of this Rams team, man. They a lot of people are down on them. They're only
Mhm.
2 years removed from a Super Bowl victory. Still got a very capable quarterback in Matthew
Yep.
Stafford. It was good to see them bounce back from the road loss at Cincinnati on Monday night. That can be expected, man. It's a tall
Mhm.
task to ask somebody to go into another good football team on Monday night and have to try to get the win on the road. So that's expected, but good to see the bounce back. They were up big in this thing early and
Yep,
let
they
the
were.
Colts battle back. It was a good performance out of Anthony Richardson coming back from the concussion. The Colts are
Mhm.
a good solid team too,
Yep.
man. And really almost came back and tried to win this thing. So, but it was good to see Stafford and the Rams be able to turn it on when they had to at the end and really kind of answer the bell and not give up that thing because there's a big difference in starting 2-2 and 1-3. So that's a big win for the Rams right here.
Look, they played like 4 really tough matchups, right? And they've been competitive pretty much on every single one of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what more can you ask about a team that when the season started, their best wide receiver, former MVP, or the guy that broke the single season in receptions record and yards and all that guy almost had a triple crown, right?
Yeah.
Removed 2 years ago is injury reserve, right? They trade their starting running back who's been a bust since he got hurt, and nobody gave them a chance. Matthew Stafford was contemplating retiring, right? He was contemplating whether he wanted to play football or do the quarterback show, whatever the hell it is, the
Right.
documentary.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Props to them, bro. 2-2. I mean, nobody saw this coming. Like you said, this NFC is like really battling and it becoming a really tough division. So and
They
look, yeah. Go ahead.
I agree, man. They do. They look good. I'm
Mhm.
happy for it. I'm happy to see this for Matthew Stafford, man. He didn't want to.
Yep.
He's kind of bummed that everybody was counting this as a lost season,
Yep.
and he wanted to come out and he wanted to show he got some young guys with him. You still got Aaron Donald on that team. Anytime you got Aaron Donald on that defense, you
Mhm.
got a shot, man.
Yep.
So they got some players over there, and everybody kind of chalked this season up for him. I like seeing them some fight in them. Scrappy bunch, man. Real scrappy bunch. And hey, Cooper Cup's eligible to come back this week, man.
Yeah, that's right. I heard about that. I got him in a few lineups. So yeah, definitely Cooper Cup to come
Yeah,
back.
I need his ass to get back
Yeah.
too, man. Hurry up, get healthy quick,
Yeah.
man. Recover
Come on,
quick.
bro.
Come
Come
on,
on, man. That's gonna be something. Watch him and Nakua, right? Lining up next to
no kidding. Because who do you guard, man? Who do you
That's
guard?
right. Because right now
Oh,
Nakua is that guy. He's not a speedster, but he runs some great routes and is a tough guy, man. So
and he ain't afraid to take a lick, man. He'll
no.
catch that ball in traffic, hang on to it,
Yep.
give you some hard yards. I like Puka Nakua.
And going back before we move on to the next game, Anthony Richardson did not have a great statistical game from a percentage completion wise, but the dude battled back. I mean,
That dude's
two
a football player, man.
dude, he is. He ran one in 56 yards. You could notice it was ugly, but the guy is a competitor, man. And he put that team on his back and tied that game. Threw for 2 touchdowns. Dude, I love him. I love him. He is one of my favorite rookies to watch right now. And to me, he is such ahead of where I thought he was going to be. I thought
Yeah,
this
man.
performance was going to be probably towards the end of the season, maybe week 10, 12, when he starts
Yeah.
feeling the speed of the game. Nah, man, this kid has completely overblown my expectations really, really quickly.
I thought we missed this. I think we missed this one, man. I think everybody was talking about how
Yep.
he's a bust. Everybody has already
Mhm.
said, it was already sell it, man. He's a bust. It's over. Nobody even giving him a chance before he even stepped in the league. And I love seeing this out of this guy, man. This guy's a football player. We
Yeah.
talked about it a few weeks ago, man. He was hearing all that jabber coming into the season and stuff too. That boy's playing some football, gives his team a chance to win. His guys will play for him, man, because they love seeing that competitiveness. He gets fired up, he makes a bad play, comes back out and battles back, man. I
Mhm.
love seeing this guy do well, and I think he's playing better than Bryce Young. That's just my
Oh,
opinion.
absolutely. Absolutely. You know who else is playing better than Bryce Young? This stud right here, CJ Stroud.
Ooh.
Another impressive game, another big win against a really solid team. All right. And the Steelers with a really good defense. And wow. All right. Wow. This guy has let's go talk about the Texans because there's really nothing from the Steelers side you want to talk about here or even
No.
reference. Another 300-yard game. 2 more freaking touchdowns. All right. Geez, this kid is for real, man. He looks the part so much. I love the type of quarterbacks like him, right? He reminds me of Justin Herbert so much. Same stature, same can throw the ball. He's a guy that has such great footwork. He's not like a speedster or a runner. He's not like a flashy guy, right? He doesn't have those Lamar and what you call it and Fields' ability to run and take off. No, but he can if he wants to. But when he
Yeah.
stands in that pocket, dude, he's like a dancer back there, bro. With his footwork, and then he's able to just here you go, man. I'm a stud. Letting that shit rip, man. A good
Yeah,
30 yards.
he does. He slings the pill. They let him throw it too, man.
Yeah.
He's getting 30 attempts a game. He's getting out there playing
Oh,
some good football. This is not a bad football team either. Another one they were kind of
no.
expecting a lost year for.
Mhm.
Playing some real good football right now. D'Amico Ryan's getting the most out of his guys. And CJ Stroud is playing the best football of any of these rookie quarterbacks. Still has not thrown an interception.
Exactly.
I was on the over on his interception props this past
Mhm.
week. I think I have to bet him now he's got to throw one eventually, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
I think
not.
at this point you just got to stick with it and bet the damn interception because he has to come.
Yeah.
4 games. He has over 1,200 yards. All right, passing. Dude, he has the most attempts out of I think he broke the attempts and versus no interception record. He's one of the tops to do it. And the start of his career through 4 games, something crazy like that. I didn't get the right stat, but that's nuts. He has to be up there with the amount of times this kid has thrown the football, right? The amount of yardage he's been able to pass for, and not have a pick. It's truly remarkable, man. He is
It
a
is.
stud.
It is. They got the weapons too.
They do.
I mean,
Oh,
this guy, you got Dalton Schultz, you got Tank Dell, Nico
yep.
Collins,
Nick,
Robert Woods, Damian Pierce, Singletary. They got some weapons for this guy to use. I like what
even
the Texans are doing, man.
it's awesome. Look at Nico's back with another monster 150 plus yards, right?
I
Receiving
love that
2
guy.
touchdowns. And it's funny because I got a lot of Nico shares because this is the guy that one of the ones that this every year, man, when you do your research right before drafting,
Yeah.
right, your team, this is the guy that I kind of like heard the much noise, right? He's going to be the guy His
Yeah.
third year in the league. I know Menchie's coming back, but forget about it. This is a good guy. And look, you know what, dude? He hasn't disappointed. And the fact that he has the right quarterback, because he showed a lot of good signs last year with Big Neck Boy, which Mills. You know what I'm saying? So
Davis Mills, yeah, Davis Mills.
David Mills. So I'm happy for Nico. Again, Tank Dell is nothing to sneeze at. He's still a rookie. He's gonna have these up and downs, but dude, water, like you said, treasure trove of a wide receiver fantasy production here from this team, being led by the only one, CJ Stroud, huh?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm glad to see it. I like D'Amico Ryans. I think this team's heading in the right direction. Every team in the AFC South sitting at 2-2 right now.
Mm-hmm. That's
so
good.
This could be. We thought this was going to be a trash division. This could be a fun division to watch.
Absolutely, man. I mean, there's been a lot of surprises like this. The Rams themselves, the Colts, right? The Texans, we're like, wow, it's great for football. It keeps it competitive.
Yeah, it is. If every team came in and did exactly what we said they would do in the season, this shit wouldn't be no fun to watch, man. These are the surprises. These are the things that make it fun.
Absolutely, man. You know who else had a lot of good time this weekend? You know who had fun? Lamar Jackson. After having and that's without like Bateman, and we knew this was going to happen. This is happening a lot quicker than we thought it was going to happen. Bateman and OBJ not being non-existent because of injuries. And don't get me wrong, having Deshaun Watson out for the game did help, but that's a freaking defense and a half. The Browns defense that he ran for 2 and threw for 2. All right. Lamar just keeps amazing you. This is where I love Lamar, man. When I compare Justin Fields to him, this is where Justin Fields doesn't even scratch the surface or even improve as much as he has, because again, he had not a great game because he didn't have all his weapons, 186, but he had a great completion percentage. But again, he uses his legs, 2 touchdowns, 27 yards. They ran the ball effectively. I mean, listen, his security blanket, Mark Andrews, has been there over and over again, and he's going to be there until he retires, because it is absolutely, watching Lamar ball out like this healthy is great for the NFL.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Mark Andrews is a beast. That's a big old dude, moving well, catching the ball. He is a mismatch monster down there in that red zone. And Gus Edwards is kind of starting to come into his own. They've been running back by committee for a while with all the struggles with J.K. Dobbins injuries and things like that. But Gus Edwards starting to look pretty good in this thing, starting to really solidify himself as a lead back. He's going to have a couple weeks where he breaks out and has some good games. If you got some plug and play, you need to, running back, a lot of running back injuries and stuff this year. So Gus Edwards is not the worst option out there right now. Nope. I'm sure he's available in a lot of leagues, but I like Lamar, man. Lamar is just doing Lamar. He got paid. He feels good. Got that chip on his shoulder. Got something to prove. This is an excellent defensive team too in the Baltimore Ravens. They are really handling business right now. I know they wasn't against the starting quarterback and all that stuff, but to not even allow a team to score a touchdown in the NFL. Your defense did something there because your backup's capable too. He's
absolutely.
a capable guy, and it's hard to keep an NFL team out of the end zone for the entirety of a game. Ravens all around good game right here. I mean, they got a little lucky catching Deshaun Watson banged up in this thing in a division game, but they went ahead and handled business on the road and take a leg up in this division because of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, unless you're the Giants, every other team, you can't keep off the damn end zone, right? You know what I'm saying? Unless you're the Giants playing at home, like in MetLife. That's the only time that doesn't make sense. The Giants are the only team that cannot get in the end zone through 2 games at home. The Browns, the Browns have an excuse. Their starting quarterback, who's, I can't believe I'm saying this, better than Daniel Jones right now, actually can get in the end zone against a really tough defense. 28-3, look, you knew it was going to be an ugly script kind of game. But for them to put 28 points on that team, and I know a lot of it has to do with the offense not clicking at all cylinders because of the starter, but that's just one of those wins that you'd be like, look, it's a division game. We're going to make sure we get the win with this opportunity handed down to us of Deshaun not being there. And they won it convincingly, unlike last week where they kind of let the Colts get in the game and beat them. So this is a shout out to Lamar. He was not going to be denied.
Yeah, because that Browns defense has only allowed 6 points in their first 2 home games. So to put up 28 on them like that, that's a testament to Lamar in that offense. They look good.
Yep. And you know who put up like 28 points, a bunch of points, and ruins Justin Fields' big day? Finally, Justin Fields came up with the Broncos, man. I mean, this is the shit show of the week, but it became one of the best games of the week, because at one point he was a shit show. Then all of a sudden, what the hell's going on? And there's a 21-point comeback, and I'm like, wow, this game turned into be like the best game of the week, man. 28-point comeback, and wow, somebody was gonna be a winner this week and get the first win up there in the winning column, and it was the Broncos, man, even though it didn't seem that way throughout the whole game out here. But hey, man, Justin, again, the regression of Justin Fields was shown again this past week. he had a big game, but 2 costly turnovers in the fourth quarter, second half that cost their team. So
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to learn to start watching these battle for the number 1 pick games and stuff
yeah,
like that, because they're always freaking awesome, man. It
hmm
doesn't matter. It didn't look like it was going to be early on, but the Broncos get down 28-7 in this thing, and then Justin Fields, we'll give a little bit of credit where credit's due, because he
yeah,
didn't have a terrible game. Had his
no,
first 300-yard passing game,
mhm,
4 touchdowns, but a very costly pick and a very costly fumble
yep,
for the scoop and score that allowed them to tie the game up there. So there's no excuse for me when an NFL team gets up by 3 touchdowns. There's never any excuse for me for that team to lose that ball game. I
I remember,
understand you got professional offenses on the
yep,
other side and all that stuff, but there's never any excuse, game script and all that you
mhm.
should get. You should be able to run the football as an NFL team after you get up by 3 scores and run that clock out. Period.
And again, remember we were talking about DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a hell of a wide receiver, and we've seen it, right?
Mm,
Look what we see that last week. I know
yeah,
you're going against a team that gave up 70 points the week before, but it doesn't matter. Cole Kmet, I told you, he's not an all pro, but he's a damn good
he can play.
tight end. He can play. He can play. You know what I'm saying? In the right scheme, this guy can be a big contributor, which we saw it last year, and they finally had his first good game of the season. Khalil had his first big, run, his first big game as a starter, right? Everybody, that's the reason why Montgomery is no longer here. He had a good game on the ground, but like, again, that was like all throughout the first half, pretty much, first 3 quarters of the game. Then after that, they didn't run the football again. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but they have really good running backs. Rashawn Johnson can run the football. Again, play calling was here, and of course, I guess I guess the lack of pedigree of Justin Fields here, where it keeps showing. Yes, he had a good game, but again, I don't see myself sold as the quarterback of the future for a NFL franchise as a starter right now through 4 games.
I don't think Justin Fields ever makes the playoffs. If he does, I don't think he gets out of the first round that he plays in. Shout out to Khalil Herbert. Had a good
Yep.
game. Looked good there. Averaged over 5.5 yards a carry. But I like Khalil Herbert, but I think Roshan Johnson's got to get more involved in this offense. Can't seem to get rolling just yet. But I think that guy's going to be a player in this league. But I think it boils down to Justin Fields. I know he had a good game, but I mean, that's the thing, is if he can have that good a game and you still lose to one of the worst teams in the league, what does that tell you? You don't have a lot of shot.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that the pedigree is lacking in Justin. Russell Wilson, he hasn't. It's funny. As much as I want to say this, he still hasn't. He's having a better season than he did last year, regardless of them being 1-3 and some of the ugly losses, right, in games. But he is having a better season offensively than he was last year under Payton. Now, that doesn't say about the whole team and the play calling and how bad they suffered, but that's the one bright spot I think you want to give them. They got the first win, and Russell played really decent again. 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, didn't turn it over. I mean, simple game, which again, they were given an opportunity by the quarterback, by Justin, making some lackluster and some questionable plays.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. You
Yeah.
got to make the plays when the game's on the line right there. He didn't make them. Made some tough decisions. I mean, I know he's still a younger guy, but he's played a lot of NFL football at this point.
Yep.
You got to start making those plays at some point and get your team some wins. They've lost, 14, 15 in a row now? So.
Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah, even though he's had games like this, he looks really great. He's a great fantasy quarterback. He hasn't had a good fantasy year this year, but he finally had a Justin fantasy quarterback kind of performance this past week.
And that's what I'm saying. If they think this guy is playing well and getting better, you're still not winning football games. That's the
true.
problem.
You know who played really well and did a little bit of everything this past week? Derek the Beast Henry against the Bengals.
Ooh-wee, man. Did you see that touchdown run?
Oh my gosh, man. The touchdown run. This guy still has it, man. I mean,
oh yeah.
He still has it. He definitely lost some miles, but he still has it, man. He threw for a touchdown too, which was pretty freaking impressive, man. It was like a Tebow kind of like, the end zone when he would go up and just jump in the air and throw it. The good old
I heard
days.
I heard a stat that blew my mind. When Derrick Henry throws the football, he is 7 for 8 with 4 touchdown passes.
Wow. Wow. See, that's a great stat. I did not know that. Wow.
They just got to put him back there. Fuck Ryan Tannehill, man. Put Derrick Henry back there, run the QB spot, man. I couldn't believe it when I heard that.
And what's crazy, right? Both wins over 20 carries. He gets 20 carries for 17 over at 17 or 18. They win the football game.
We've said it a couple different weeks now. If Derrick Henry doesn't get 20 touches in a football game, the whole staff should be fired before they even get off the field, man. And that seems to be the common denominator here. When he gets 20-plus carries, they win the football game. Period.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's possible for them to run the hell out of a football and have Tyjae Spears out there doing this thing. 40 yards on the ground. He's also a nice little outlet guy with the people. There was 3 dump downs on him, which help him, kind of move the chains. This is what you need to do, man. Let the guy be the horse and throw in, Tajay Spears and be there in the passing game. Also to get those other plays to give, Henry a rest. They don't have a great, Tannehill's not a great quarterback. So therefore you got to use these 2 talented running backs. I mean, we know Henry is there. That's it. He only has a year left or 2. But this kid right here can play as well. Throw him in there, man. Get him more involved. And I think that was one of the reasons why they won. It didn't show in the box sheet by scoring, but I'll guarantee you, those, 5 carries, 40 yards, those move the chains, baby. Those are things that just makes the offense keeps going. As ugly as Tannehill, plays this game, had a pick, 18 for 25, 240. That's what you're gonna get from Tannehill pretty much on a weekly basis.
And I think they'll take that.
Yeah, they do.
I think you'll take 240 from Tannehill every week, throwing it about looking at what, about a 75% clip there,
Yep.
70% clip or so.
Yep.
So I think they'll take that from Ryan Tannehill each week. Tajay Spears, 8 yards to carry. That kid's a football player, man.
Oh, my gosh,
they got some pieces in there, and that defense, that front 7 on that defense is nasty, man. They're going to keep you in games because they don't allow teams to run the football. Joe Mixon had about the best game of anybody against them. I think, 64 yards?
67 yards rushing. Joe Mixon, on 14 carries, 4.79 yards per carry. That's you can't sneeze at that. The problem with the Bengals is that Joe Burrow still does not look right. Did not throw for another game without a touchdown, 165 yards. I mean, what is going on? There's definitely I think right now 1-3. I know it's early, but it doesn't look good. There's something wrong with this offense. Joe is not playing 100%. It should be a little. Maybe it's time not to panic, but concern a little bit. What do we need to do here? What do we need to change? Because it just hasn't looked pretty for 4 games, including the win.
I agree, man. When at what point do you kind of think maybe you shut him down and let him? I think they lose again this week. They got to go out to Arizona, and I think Arizona has looked much better, much more polished. It's going to be on the road, East Coast to West Coast, all that stuff. I think Arizona beats them. They start out 1-4. At what point do you got to kind of sit Joe Burrow down and make sure we've talked about these guys tearing these Achilles coming back from these ACLs and stuff? How do we know that's not a possibility with Joe Burrow? At what point do you sit him down and kind of let him I don't know. When is the season lost? If you start 1-4, that's a bad deal.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know it's not time to panic. We spoke about the panic button last week, but however, just from the naked eye here, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. This is a guy that is elite quarterback putting these kind of numbers. And unfortunately, my man, I'm going to start with the first one of the week. He is my first loser of the week. Damn it, the Cincinnati Bengals, because that is dog shit for a team of that caliber.
Le who? The her.
When the other team is worse than you are offense by a lot, and you lose 27-3, these guys are on New York Giants status offense kind of right now, bro. All right. That's not Daniel Jones right there, my friend. That's not Danny Dimes. That's Joe fucking Burrow. And this cannot happen. This cannot happen for a team of this. And I know I'm kind of overreacting, but it is time because we gave him a pass in week 1 and it was horrible. He hasn't looked great. He had the best game. He had 2 touchdowns, I think, and that was like a real two lucky catches. It hasn't looked flawless. He hasn't looked like the team that has Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I know he got banged up. Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, who has disappeared from the face of this earth. And I think it's just a problem that this offense is not cohesive right now, man. It's not clicking. What do you think? I mean, am I wrong for calling them my first loser of the week? Because I have another one.
No, I agree with you 100% right here. I think that we came into this, had that calf injury happen in camp. We knew it was going to be an issue, a lingering thing. He hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked comfortable. And I know a lot of that has to do with that calf injury. You got to kind of be ginger on that thing week in and week out. He's been week to week the whole season. So I think it all boils down to him. And it's probably because he can't play at his highest abilities because of that calf injury. And I think that's where the trouble starts right there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't make excuses for people. I'm pretty freaking straightforward, dude. I don't care how good you are, how bad you are. At this point, man, I know this guy, my world, right? Work, life. I was taught not to give people passes because passes usually don't make them stronger or make them correct their fault. And
I agree.
And I know he's not healthy, but whether his fault or the team's fault, they got to be held accountable, bro. And right now, a team of this caliber needs to be held accountable. And yeah, they fall to my loser of the week. Never thought I was going to say this about Joe Burrow this early on in the season or ever.
I agree with you, man. We all kind of had our overreactions last year when they started 0-2, but they righted that ship pretty
Mhm.
quick and looked good throughout the rest of that season. Right now, I don't see that out of this team. I don't think they got that gear, especially with him banged up like that. But I'm with you. They got to be held accountable because a team with this much talent should not be looking like this on the football field.
And the quarterback with the second highest guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Paid him a lot of money.
To come out the gate like this, yeah, it's unexcusable. Bengals, I don't know who's running the jungle right now, but it's not Joe Burrow or your team. So it is what it is. You know who actually got the first win and ran something last week was the Vikings. Finally, they got a win. You
Boy,
know,
they shouldn't have.
it was when they went down. What it was a 13-7 or something like that, and I was like, "What the hell is going on here? 7-0. What the hell is going on here, man?" It's just
They were
just the
down.
way. Yeah, go ahead. They were down 13-0.
Yeah, they
Right?
were down 13-7 with the
Yeah.
Panthers driving right there, and then Bryce
Mhm.
Young makes one of those young guy mistakes there. You
Yep.
got to protect that football in the red zone. Take that critical 3 points.
Mhm.
It don't matter if you get end zone. Take that 3 points. It's a lot in the NFL, especially when you're already up by 6, make it a 2-score game. He winds up getting sacked, fumble, scoop, and score for the Vikings to go up 14-13. The rest was kind of history
Yep.
in that thing. So you got to protect the football. That's the key. I know he's got a trash offensive line. I know he's
Mhm.
running for his life. He's already a small guy, so he's got that stacked against him. But you
Yep.
got to protect the football when you're in the red zone. He's going to learn that. On that same play, he might have escaped that tackle at Alabama because those tacklers
Yep.
aren't NFL
No.
linebackers and things like that. You got to know your limitations. You got to protect the football and you got to get down, man. Take the 3 points, move on, because that changes that whole game right there when you get sack, fumble, scoop, and score.
Absolutely. I think that's just the way that this young Carolina team is going to go throughout the whole season. I mean, they're getting to the point that I'm not even bring them up anymore until I see something positive on our weekly recap. They're 0-4 and they haven't been impressive. Bryce Young, 204 passing yards. Again, got to protect the football. Again, the small quarterback thing is starting to look more and more of a thing that is going to be a thing of the past when it comes to drafting quarterbacks. Just when you look at guys like CJ Stroud again and Richardson. So
Yeah.
not that's my book. I've never been a fan of the small quarterback. Never. I've always been a
I'm with
fan
you.
of the prototype.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't want to ship him out to pasture just yet, man. He is only 4 games into his NFL career, so and I know he's on a bad team, so I don't want to sell him short just yet. But I'm with you right now. The way it looks early on, the other 2 guys that are a little bit bigger, a little bit more traditional sized quarterbacks are looking a lot better and looking like much better picks, and they were both on the board when this guy was taken. So we'll just have to see.
Hey,
Too early to tell.
absolutely. This guy has, he has a lot of the grace, smart quarterback, and make a lot of different throws for his height or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying he's going to be out of the NFL, but for now, for this season, yeah, he ain't the guy for me, and he's running low on my interest level here or meter.
Yeah,
Not spend too much
yeah.
time on the Vikings. I'm sorry because they suck as well. Because shout out
They
to
do.
Justin Jefferson, 2 touchdowns. What a day for him. This is what he does.
Yeah, he's just a monster, bro. Just easy game for some people.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Another game I didn't have on script that I completely forgot out of here. Let's talk a little bit about the Raiders. Well, Jacksonville. Look, we're not gonna go into the box, but they won, and it was a really boring game. They
It was
won.
a boring game. Well, was a boring game. Bijan had a decent game,
Yeah,
but beyond that, the Falcons looked pretty bad, and fuck
yeah,
the Falcons still.
exactly. Forget about London too, man. I hate those London games
Yeah,
as well. I can't
Pitts,
believe that.
London, all them. Yeah, you
I
send
can't
those
believe
guys
that
up the pasture.
the freaking Jags got to stay there for another week. You know what I'm saying? Another freaking week because they're facing the Bills this week, right? So yeah, it's ugly.
The Jags like it over there, though, man. They might wind up moving that franchise over there before it's all said and done. They don't hate it there. They do pretty good in that spot.
Their owner is looking for that pretty much, man.
Oh,
He's looking for a big
they
Wembley Stadium out there.
they must be offering him a chunk of change or something, man.
Yeah. Another quick recap here is definitely the Vegas Raiders and the Chargers. It was pretty much, I mean, O'Donnell, the rookie, did as best as he could, but man, he was getting so fucked up, man. He was getting
Yeah.
sacked so many times. That offensive line couldn't hold it. Freaking Deontay Adams goes out of the game and comes back in and still has 75 yards and 8 receptions. I mean, he wasn't getting a lot. And by the way, that was a touchdown. Another bad coaching job by McDaniels. You should have, even though you scored the next play right there, that should have been freaking challenged. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They lost it. I mean, how do you run the offense that quick after that without even like, yo, come on, bro, take a look at this.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have a lot of faith in Josh McDaniels. I don't have
Me
a lot
neither.
of faith in Brandon Staley either because they
No.
almost
Yep.
let a shorthanded Raiders team come back and get them in this thing. So I don't have a lot of faith in either one of these teams. I think they're both much worse. I didn't
Mhm.
expect a whole lot of the Raiders coming in, but
Me neither.
I was down on the Chargers. A lot of people very high on the Chargers. I thought they would be one to take a step back because I don't have a lot of faith in their head coach. And both of these teams are as good as their head coaches are, and that's not very good. So I don't have a
Yeah.
lot to say about either one of these either.
Absolutely. The other one that we're just going to briefly touch real quick here is going to be New England and the Dallas Cowboys because the big news of this is that McIntyre got benched in the second half for Zappy Bailey.
Yeah, this is Bill Belichick's worst loss ever.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. And again, Dallas all defense again. Point of concern for me when it comes to Dallas, not because I'm hating because I'm a Giants fan. Yes, I can't stand the damn Cowgirls. But dude, that red zone offense sucks. They struggle in the red zone. When it comes to the
You're
Cowboys,
not wrong.
they struggle. Kellen Moore loves his tight ends, and you can see that same influence with Parham and up in the Chargers, right? But I just don't see. And you're right. They miss Zeke. They definitely miss Ezekiel Elliott at the on the red zone. That's all he did last year.
Yeah, Tony Pollard, man, I'm expecting him to start getting in the end zone some. I need him to. He's still giving me some fantasy numbers, but give me those extra 6 points, bro. Get the end zone one time. I'm with you. The red zone offense looks pretty bad right now.
He could break out for some great runs, right? But he cannot get in the end zone to save his life. Save his life. I mean, that's why Zeke was there. That was kind of the good balance. So not looking good, man.
It don't matter if you're winning by 35, but in those games like next week when you play the San Francisco 49ers, you're going to need some red zone efficiency, and they ain't had it yet.
Absolutely. I'm with you there 100%. That's going to be a true test. And again, because of the way that offense looks, because he hasn't looked great. A lot of these blowouts are generated by the defense. So
yeah, scoring 2+ touchdowns and shit.
Exactly. Another one, talking about shit, man, was this Sunday night game, man. That was what you call a horrible, man. I mean, it was 23-20. It was a consistent game, 17-0 at one point, but the Kansas City Chiefs, kind of allowed them to get back into the game. Patrick Mahomes had probably one of his worst games in a very, very long time. Shout out to Isaiah Pacheco, who was the reason why this team won. 20 carries, 115 yards on the ground, a touchdown. Just monster stats for Pacheco. Love the kid.
He was inspired, man. Playing inspired. Back at his hometown. Went to school just down the road there in Piscataway, New Jersey at Rutgers. So it was back in his hometown playing inspired. Looked good up there. Was hyped, talking some smack. I liked what I saw out of him. Patrick Mahomes, like you said, had a tough game. Not a Patrick Mahomes like game. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Good game, Zach Wilson, man. I thought the guy played well. Gave his team a reason to want to play for him now. Went out there and really battled against Patrick Mahomes and played better than Patrick Mahomes. You go up against the GOAT in the league, and you wind up outplaying him and giving your team a shot to win this thing. Your guys get a little inspired, and they will play for you. Do I think Zach Wilson's going to wind up leading the Jets to the promised land? Probably not. But I will give credit where credit is due, and I was glad to see that guy bounce back after hearing everybody chirp all week long about how terrible it was. Joe Namath got drunk, got on social media, and gave him all kinds of shit. And everybody was against this kid, but Robert Saleh backed him. Shout out to Robert Saleh. I love that guy. But, yeah, I was happy to see Zach Wilson respond, be competitive, and give his team a shot to winning this thing.
Hey, listen, man. I think Broadway Joe might have pissed him off and inspired him because he had his best game after the biggest criticism by a Hall of Famer, right? Look, I think this is the best game
man.
Yeah, exactly. This is not the best game he had all season. This is the best game he had in the last 10 freaking starts going back to last year. Let's be freaking honest.
Exactly, right? Bro. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you hear a Hall of Famer, a legend like Joe Namath sit there and bash you to everybody. If that don't inspire you, I don't know what's going to. You might need to consider a career change if you can't get fired up for that.
Oh hell yeah, bro! Let me tell you, so Joe was on his freaking underwear and his big fucking smoking jacket with his blunt in one hand and a scotch in the other, tweeting, all right, or having his assistant tweet or somebody, because he was so bombed out of his mind. But maybe he knows what the hell he's doing. Maybe he needs to every time he plays bad. Hey, Joe needs to go and hit the Twitter account, baby.
Maybe it might work, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they found something here, man. Joe getting on Twitter, man, and bashing the quarterback. I don't know. They needs to do that more often. I like what Breece Hall did. I mean, you notice that he's been, trying to get back to that shape, that speed of the game. And after a first, decent game with 126 rushing yards, he's been kind of downhill. He hasn't been getting a lot. They're easing him in. But you could see what Breece Hall can do when healthy. And the flashes he showed, again, it will be a little bit of a different team and a little more help for Zach Wilson, when Breece Hall is 100%. I think that's what I saw that helped that offense.
Absolutely. You got Brees Hall averaging over 9 yards a carry right there.
Yeah.
That's gonna definitely give your guy a little more time in the pocket because you can't just bum rush and you can't just stack that box, because you got the ability to throw the ball now. So you got to cover guys like Garrett Wilson, who is a monster. That guy just runs routes so pure and so clean. He is fun to watch. Alan Lazard, a vet in the league. Jets, and it's not all lost for the Jets just yet. I know, after seeing this performance, I'm a little bit more inspired by them. That defense is good. If Zach Wilson can play half this good, the Jets are going to have a chance to win week in, week out.
I think the fact that he didn't turn the ball over, that's kind of like the big question because he's been a turnover machine. It's pretty
that's
wild.
what got him beat. That's what got him beat with that fumble right there at
the
the
fumble.
end.
He didn't throw a pick. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And he took ownership for that. He took accountability, stood up and said, "Hey, this is my fault. This one's on me." And you saw his guys at the end of the game kind of giving him dap and telling him don't sweat it because he was the only reason they were in the game to begin with. So
absolutely. He was the reason why they came back down 17-0. So
yeah, I agree.
And before we move on, before I forget, I want you guys to hear a word from my sponsor, BetUS, where the game begins. Check out the link in the description if you want 125% signing bonus, one of the biggest signing bonus in the business. Let's check them out.
I've been to 56 straight home games.
I've tailgated 61 times.
I've been to 31 practices.
I've collected 17 autographs.
I've had 27 beers spilt on me. Make that 28.
I've got one sports book.
I've got one sports book.
I've got one sports book.
BetUS.com.
Sign up at BetUS and get a massive 125% bonus.
And of course, hit that subscription button. If you're watching right now, turn on your notifications. Give us a like so you don't miss us at all. Follow my man Cricket, Sports Cricket on Twitter. Follow myself on Twitter as well. And, we're going to keep moving this bus on, baby. You're not going to regret it. You don't want to miss a week of this individual here with class because I just come along for the ride, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm the classless guy. I got to bring classy people to this joint in order for people to watch.
Shoot, man. You make classy people want to come in, man.
Oh, man. Talk about classless and no class at all is my fucking New York Giants. I can't stand this freaking team, dude. I threw the damn hat out the window on week 1 because I kind of saw that we're watching more and more of the same crap. How the hell we've only scored 3 points at home and given up 64 freaking points? That I cannot fathom that because I don't think I've ever even heard of such a thing in all my years of watching football. Not just from a New York really bad team, but just a freaking football team overall, bro. It's 2 games at home. You're an NFL team. You've given up 64 points and only scored 3 points. Jeez. I mean, come on, man. I don't want to.
You got all kinds of problems, bro. Yeah. Y'all gave up what 10 sacks last night?
I think it was 11 sacks. I know he's been sacked like almost over 30 times, probably now through 4 games. I get it, but dude, you still got to take.
I will say
you got to make better decisions.
I will say that some of those sacks were not his fault, but some of those sacks were his fault. I felt like he was holding the ball way too long. And maybe that's part of it because he's running for his life.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of spots where I felt like he should have. Maybe that's because nobody's open. You don't have any pure proven wide receivers. But I think you got to get Jalen Hyatt involved in this thing. Maybe that's a homer thing for me because I'm a Tennessee Vols guy. But you got to get this kid involved in the game plan a little bit more because you can't tell me that he gives you any worse chance at getting the ball downfield than some of those guys y'all got running around out there. Because clearly nobody's getting open. You don't give up 11 sacks if people are getting open. And you got all kinds of problems in this thing, starting with the offensive line. You're going to get Saquon back. You're going to get some of those offensive linemen back. It's kind of a patchwork offensive line right now due to injuries. So you're going to get some of those guys back, but there's a lot of problems up there. And I think y'all might have paid Danny Dimes way too much money, man.
Yeah, let me tell you how bad it is, right? That we try to do the tush push, that's the new age play right now, brother. And we got 2 fucking guys out of injury. An offensive line and Bellinger. Bellinger, who looks ripped at his ass. I mean, this dude gets injured, and we're trying to do the tush push. Not even on a goal line situation, bro. We're trying to get a first down on 4th down. I mean, that happened. This is the kind of season the Giants are having.
They're gonna outlaw that play, man.
At one point, they will. I mean, shoot, man. I mean, trust me. When my buddy brought up that term, and we spoke about it on Cigars and Sport, my buddy Jim, he texted me, "Hey, let's also throw in there the tush push in the comments by Chris Sims." And I'm like, "Come back again," because 1 minute I thought somebody went to jail. All right, and got their shit pushed in. I mean, because I have no idea that's what they called it, and of course now has become a revolutionary term for that play. So I'm like, get out of here. Get out
They're
of here.
going to outlaw that thing, man. That's going to hurt the Philadelphia Eagles just by itself because when they outlaw that thing, that's going to hurt them. That's good for at least 3 or 4 first downs on 4th down for them a game.
Yeah, it's true. It is. They've had. Hey, look, and I'm a fan that when somebody comes up with a new thing, a new play,
Yeah.
if you don't like it, stop it.
Stop it.
If you can't stop it, then you make it better, right?
Well, and here's the thing: all these teams are trying to do this, and all these teams don't have the best center in the league in Jason Kelsey. That's part of the reason that is so successful for those guys because they have the best center in the league, and everybody's trying to do this with mediocre centers, and it ain't gonna work, man.
I mean, this is another thing. Danny Dimes is 1-12 in primetime games. He makes Kirk Cousins looks like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the clutch. Okay, that's how bad he is right now. And all these things are coming up to the light now because of the big money, right? How bad he looks. He's looking worse than he did even his second year when he regressed. He's looking worse than his third year. I mean, and I get it. This offensive line was supposed to be better. The Giants drafted a shitload of offensive linemen. What is it? Where are they? They're made out of paper. You know what I mean? We improved money. Don't get me wrong. The last 2 games, our defense have shown improvements. You know, against a great team like the 49ers before the third quarter, you know, we were keeping up there. We were making some stops. Last night, we made a lot of stops. We just could not fucking move the football. Like that pick 6, that's unnecessary.
Oh, bro, that's a killer.
They read him from as soon as they snapped the ball. He picked it up. He got into his motion. They knew Danny was going that way. That was completely all him. Well, he could have just, I mean, I know he didn't have a lot of time to make multiple reads, but dude, you're an NFL quarterback that's making $45 million. That should have not happened, especially after the game you're having. So
I agree, man. Shout out to Devin Witherspoon. Might have locked up Rookie of the Year for him, Defensive Rookie of the Year already with that game last night. 2 sacks, 97-yard pick 6. A 97-yard pick 6 that basically won the game because that's going to make it 14-10 right there. That's a whole different ball game. Now it's 21-3, and you're sitting there with your thumb up your butt if you're the Giants. So I like what Devin Witherspoon did, but you gotta have a better play call than that right there, man. Throw if anything, get to the back of the end zone with a guy like Darren Waller who's 6'8", who's a freaking giant. Get back there, throw a jump ball to him, man. Yeah. At least let him bat it out of bounds. Don't kill yourself right there, man. Even if you make it 14-6, you're still in the football game. 21-3, it's over.
Don't throw it directly at the damn corner. Isn't that like Witherspoon's first ever scoring touchdown, like his first pick 6? I think even in college.
Well, I'm sure it is. He's only four games into his career, so yeah, I'm sure that's his first one. But yeah, I mean that's a good one to come out on.
I don't think he had a defensive touchdown in college last year or something like that, or I don't know something. I heard something like that over the broadcast, and at this point I'm zoned out.
Part of the reason they wouldn't throw the ball at that guy last year, he was a freaking he's a monster. They wouldn't throw the ball his way last year, so that's part of the reason why that happened.
Let me tell you, the only positive thing that came out of that game is I was up by 20 points in one of my big fantasy leagues, the Midtown Brigade, which I do a nice fun recap every week with my boys. I was up by 20, and he had Geno Smith. And I guess the Giants played good enough defense for Geno Smith to, only score 12, go out of the game, take some time, and I won my game. It was an ugly game, one of those like under 100. I won 94 to like 87. All right, it was one of those.
Oh, those are good ones. Those are league winners, bro.
And the other guy was like, he's about to he was killing himself. I can't believe I lost like this. I was like, yeah, I lost like the same way like 2 weeks ago. But it's that's the only positive thing that came out. So hey, it is what it is, man. The Giants look bad.
You can thank Devin Witherspoon for that fantasy victory, man. Because if they score right there, Geno's got to keep throwing the football. But when he gets that pick 6, they just start handing it to Kenneth Walker, and it was OV then.
They took Geno out and put Drew Lock for the last 4 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like that's it. Let's get Geno out. We don't want Geno to get hurt. He's already banged up, and we're probably gonna slow walk him through practice this whole week. Well, I think they have a bye week. I think no, it's a Chargers.
No, they do have a bye week. Yep,
they have a bye week. So guess what? Hey, let's get Geno out of there and let's get him healthy again. That's where again, like Witherspoon again, it's my boy. I'm gonna send him like a basket of fruit or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Just because he made me win.
I benefited there too, man. I had DK Metcalf going against me. I wound up winning that one by I think 2 or 3 points.
It's crazy
because they shut down the passing game.
Yep, they did. It was. I mean, the Giants, they were on the field a long time. Their defense was playing pretty good. I mean, this is like the best game their defense have played out of every single one of them. I mean, even though it doesn't seem like that in the scoreboard, but when you look at the plays they made, it's just again, just like Dallas, we lost 40-0, but like 25 of those, like 30 of those points were all defensive. You know what I'm saying? Generated. So
I actually wanted a juicy little bet on this one last night. I didn't see it until a little bit ago. I checked back my account and I had bet at plus 1,600. I was looking at those game props. They got some juicy little things in there, man. plus 1,600 for the Seahawks to win every quarter. And
Wow.
I got back in there this morning and had a little surprise in my account. I forgot all about that thing, man.
Yeah, I actually went like completely contrarian. I did a little bit like a 3-leg parlay. I took Seahawks to win the game, right? Spread, and then to win the first half, and then I took anytime Kenneth Walker touchdown. So it was a nice little, plus 700. It's like, yeah, great, man. You know what I mean? Because they were all like not. I think the only plus money there was Kenneth Walker at plus 103 or something like that. The other ones were all, So I was like, hey, this is great. I capped my weekend. I didn't want to go crazy. I mean, I'm looking. This is one of those games that when you look at the props, right, and you're looking at the Giants props, you're like, shit, man. They say Hodgins got to get over 2.5 receptions, right? This is what you look at. Like it's Paris Campbell. I mean, 4.5 receptions for like all the Giants props. Like, what the hell, man? The only one that made sense was Danny Dimes. You know what I mean? For completions, which he did. He blew it out of the water. He just, I wanted that. That's where I won. I also played, over unders with on underdog fantasy. So I won. I usually take the insurance and won 4 out of 5 there and got paid a little bit.
Right.
Danny was one of those. Fuck it.
Yeah, this was a good little cherry on top for me, man. I had DK Metcalf at 9-1 on first touchdown score, and then that Seahawks to win every quarter at plus 1,600. So that was a good little cherry on top at the end of the week right there. So yeah, I was pleased with that.
Nice. You know what? Was another good cherry on top? Danny Dimes and the Giants are my second loser of the fucking week.
Le who? The her.
Because they suck. And we're not going to spend too much time. I'm just going to flip my graphic, all right? Because they got to see that goofy bastard, all right? He's no Eli Manning, bro. I don't care if he went to Duke. I mean, get out of here, bro. $45 million for what? Nothing.
For what? You're not wrong, bro.
Man, to look at this goofy bastard turning the ball over and over again. And again, look, the defensive line sucks, but you got to make better decisions taking care of the ball. That strap, again, that strip fumble, you got to take care of the ball better when you're running away from defenders, especially when you have no coverage.
Yep. Yeah. When you've been hit that hard that many times, you better get that ball tucked away, man.
Yep.
Tuck it away, bro.
Absolutely. Let's jump on real quick. I tweeted my week 4 top 10 NFL power rankings. You know what I'm saying, man? So let me just show them up here. Let's discuss this real quick. What do you think, man? I mean, again, I got back-to-back weeks. I'm living the 49ers up there at number 1. I'm not going to in any way take them out of there until somebody beats them and spanks them. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
Eagles, again.
I think both those two teams right there got to be 1A and 1B, really. You can go 1 and 2. You can flip-flop them either way you want. Yep. But, yeah, they're 1A and 1B right now for sure.
And the Bills, respectively, 3 wins in a row, beat good teams, beat the hottest team in the league decisively. They deserve that number 3 spot in my book.
I 100% agree, sir. 100%.
I'm going to leave the Dolphins at number 4. They went down probably from, I think I had them number 3 last week. Leave them number 4 because of all they've done in the first 2 seasons. They played their first true test. Let's see what happens next week. Definitely sneaking in my Lions up to number 5. They're playing some good football. They're playing some good football.
They are. They look good. Dan Campbell up there got that team inspired, looking real good right now.
Yep. I got the Ravens at number 6. I think the Ravens kind of moved up a spot or 2 from last week. Again, Ravens are a little banged up, but they're Lamar Jackson is looking as good as he ever has. So they're my number 6 right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Lamar playing good football.
Yep. The Chiefs played really ugly games, so I think I knocked them down a spot or 2 because I think the Giants and the Ravens played a lot better this week, and they've been playing better as of late. So,
yeah, I think the Chiefs will be one of the usual suspects at the end, as they usually are. So, but yeah, I'm with you. They got to drop a little bit after that performance.
Yep. And the Bucks, the Dallas Cowboys, number 8, because I'm never going to put them at first again. That was just deployed to make sure they lose against the Arizona Cardinals, just to jinx them. But look, again, I'm not impressed with their offense. Every other team in front of them are better offensively. And some of them have a pretty decent defense as well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They got to get more efficient in the red zone, really start punching some of those opportunities in those spots.
And I'm sorry, brother. A team wouldn't touch on today. Your Bucks. They break in.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, man.
My bad.
Really good. Going to get a big win in the Superdome where we don't normally play very well. He went down there and really handled business. Derek Carr wound up playing at the last second. They thought it was going to be Jameis. Then they put Derek Carr in there at the last minute, deciding he was healthy enough to go and all that. But my Bucks handled business, and Baker Mayfield was playing good football.
You had your doubts. I remember you on Wake and Wake. And you were going the other way hard. You wanted, did you end up betting that game? I think you left it alone, did you? I think you
left it alone. I don't like to. I won't bet against them. I just
Yeah.
don't have a lot of faith betting on them a lot of times, especially in that spot. We've just played so bad in that Superdome. But yeah, I was heavy against my Bucks all going into the year. Baker's starting to make me a little bit of a believer, man. I wanted to be part of that Caleb Williams, Drake May sweepstakes, and hey,
brother,
Baker might be the guy for us. Got some years under his belt, a veteran guy now, not turning the football over.
Three touchdowns. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 3 touchdowns over here, dude. 31 on the ground here. I mean, again, he doesn't have blazing speed, but he's gonna run. He's again, look. And I was never a Baker fan, but I'm becoming a Baker fan. I started becoming a Baker fan because I think he humbled himself a lot with everything he went through last year, right? With Carolina and then getting traded to the Rams, right? Knowing what it is to be a backup guy and getting benched and stuff like that. I am happy for Baker because he is playing probably the best football right now of his career, going back to the Rams of last year. Right now, man. I mean, he has that team clicking. Again, Chris Godwin had probably his best game of the season, over 100 receiving yards. Mike Evans got banged up. We don't know what's the status of Mike Evans. Is he going to be out?
Hamstring going on right now. So you know how that is. Monitor week to week, see how his body responds, all that stuff. But we know Mike Evans is going to have a few games each year where he's out of the lineup. Just part of it, and this is probably the next one. He's going to miss a week or two here and there because you rush back too quick on those hammies, you wind up being out for 4 to 6 weeks. So they may just nurse it along a little bit. Yeah,
they deserve to be the number 9 team. I probably put them on number 8, man, over the fucking Dallas Cowboys. Bro. F them. You know what I'm saying? I should have put them on number 8, man. Put them number 8. I'm gonna hate all that. I'm in a bad mood this week, man. The Giants really got me in a bad mood yesterday. They got me in a bad mood since Saturday. Even they haven't even played yet. And by the way, I'm gonna be at that game on Sunday here in Miami.
Oh, that's cool. So, that's cool, man.
Eric and Chris, my bad, bro. I got tickets last minute. I will not be making Wake or Rake this Sunday because I got a plan. We're gonna get blasted real quick because by the time we get in, I may call in. I may probably call in live from either this, if I get there early enough and I'm drinking, just to hey guys, what's up, man? Look, where we gotta get our asses kicked.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, bro. I like that.
Geared up, dude. You know what I mean? With all my Giants gear in Miami, probably getting my ass chewed by every single day.
That's all right though, man. I like your fanhood.
Oh man, I got to do this, man. They don't come down here that often, so
I understand. That's cool. You definitely should, man. That'll be a good trip.
Yeah, Seattle Seahawks, man, at number 10. Pete Carroll. I've never seen a coach at his age take so many laps up and down the damn sidelines like this guy does. I mean, this guy's like the ever ready bunny. He doesn't freaking stop. You see how many he goes? He's so hype about the game, bro. I mean, this guy's like 72 years old, right? Isn't he? Like 72, 73?
72, man. I don't know where this guy gets his energy from, but I wish I had a little tap of that fountain of youth.
I'm telling you, man, this dude is the spokesperson for the Blue Chew pill, man. I'm telling you, the new age blue one. So he should definitely get a sponsor because he's up there, man, vigorously running up and down the sideline, hyped up. I mean, I'm waiting for one game when he takes off his shirt. All right, and freaking goes and chest bumps somebody with the pads. That's where I see him right now.
Yeah.
But they deserve to be. They deserve to break in at number 10 in my book. You know what I mean? They could also be number 9. They're playing good defense. Good defense. Again, Gino was banged up last game, but they're just doing enough. It's a Pete Carroll scrappy secondary kind of team. Kind of Legion of Boomish, right? A little bit, if I'm not mistaken, bro. With what we saw yesterday, maybe
Jamal Adams got banged up again last night, man. Looked like concussion or something there. He came in for a couple plays, made a couple big hits, and then wound up getting his bell rung with a knee to the head by Daniel Jones. But he'll be back in a couple weeks when he gets out of that protocol. They got a bye week, so everybody will be able to get back, get healthy and stuff. Gino's playing good football. 2 good running backs in Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker III. You got DK and Tyler Lockett out there. So a good football team right here, man.
Oh man, yeah. No, hey, there's your those are my top 10 NFL power ranking of week 4. Let's see where we're at next week. And cricket to finish I'm gonna start a new category. And it was inspired this week because there was an individual who really goated it out, man. And I want to come out just like I had the loser of the week. I said we need to balance it out, man. We just get nod and the show on just negativity with losers and geeks and Daniel Jones, who's the 2-time individual recipient in the Giants here. So I needed to cheer myself up, first of all. This is where the inspiration came because I was depressed. All right. You spoke about mental health. I almost went to confession on a Monday, all right, because on a Tuesday, because even though confession was on Saturday, I was knocking at the church door. The crazy they didn't take me in. But anyway, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm coming up with a new category. It's called the GOAT of the week. All right, the greatest of all time of the week. Just for that week, man, we're gonna pick a player, NFL, NBA, MLB. It doesn't matter, right? Most likely it's gonna be more NFL than anything else because we're starting on next week when the NBA starts. We might have some guys that are gonna drop like 80 or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But I want to go ahead. Let me open up the intro to the GOAT of the week.
Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. Don't cross that line. Go. Go.
The GOAT of the week, my friend. Let me move my slide here because it's just, is Christian freaking McCaffrey. That dude is him. All right. The fact that this picture says it all. The fact that he's able to tie a record. All right. He passed Jerry's franchise record. All right, of 12 games with a touchdown. That is impressive. All right. A career high of 4 touchdowns a game. I thought he already had this, but no, first time ever. 20 carries, 106 rushing yards, 7 receptions, 71 yards. All right. Had himself a touchdown, 177 combined yards from scrimmage. When you pass a GOAT and you have a GOAT performance to do it on, come on, man. You gotta be the GOAT of the week in my book.
I'm with you, man. They could have gave him the franchise record. He could have tied the franchise record for 5 touchdowns. They gave Brock Purdy the old tush push.
That's right.
The touchdown at the end, man. He could have tied the franchise record right there with 5 touchdowns in a game, but they kept him out of that. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey is, like you said earlier, a straight up cheat code, man.
Yeah, he is. The dude is just built different, and it's funny because I got one of my coworkers, huge 49ers fan, right? And he's been suffering the last few years because they're competitive. Then last year again, another good team, injuries, right? They went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy and they stunk it up, which they had a really good team that should have beat the Chiefs. And it's always, Shanahan has these running backs, great running backs, but they get hurt. And it was funny, one time a couple of years ago, we said, imagine your offense, right? That way Shanahan plays these running backs and the schemes, and all that kind of crap, McDaniels back then. I was like, imagine a player like Christian McCaffrey in your team. I was like, yeah, that'll be great. I don't think Shanahan has ever had a player like that. He always has 2 players to make one of them like that. And this guy, lining up as a receiver, making those quick cuts. Great hands, quick. It's just the guy is just, you said he's a cheat code. For a team to have Deebo Samuels with no receptions, and you beat a team that you're supposed to beat, but you beat them convincingly. It's crazy. It's just, and it's all, this guy had a cheat code kind of game by CMC.
Yeah, he is very, very impressive, man. It's fun to watch this guy get out there and do his thing week in and week out.
It is fun. It is fun, man. And the Niners fans are having a effing blast week after week watching this kid bowl out, watching this team play a massive, flawless, almost flawless football. Just, again, pick your poison, man. It's a team that doesn't have one big ego. They just spread it around, man. 1 week is Deebo, 1 week is Ayuk. CMC consistently every week. Brock Purdy is not the guy that you thought was going to put an offense, but he is the conductor of an offense. You don't have to make it look fancy. You don't have to make it look flashy. Just make it look right. And that's 49ers right now. That offense looks right, and so is the defense.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they do.
Woo, that's what we got, man. We
good one, man. That's a good one.
We covered a lot, man. We covered a lot, bro. All right, so listen, do me a favor. If you think of a GOAT of the week next week, go ahead and shoot it out to me. All right. I don't want to be like, hey, tweet me out or something. We'll definitely add them in there, man. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. For sure.
And I love my intro that you like my intro. Let's play it again one more time. If Jordan Thomas is watching, let me show you what a real GOAT looks like, JT, okay?
Greatest of all time. Greatest of all time. Don't cross that line. Go.
He's a big LeBron. He's a LeBron sexual, man. He loves LeBron James. That's his homie. That he would marry that guy right now. If he
right now, huh?
He would. Hey, have him. Go ahead, man. Shout out your stuff. Let them know where they could find you, Cricket, and anything else you want everyone else to know, and reach out.
Okay, man. Yeah, for the best value in sports handicapping, come check us out over at sportspicks.locals.com. We got the great Robert Barnes making the official picks, 7-0 on his big 5% plays this year. You wind up getting about 1,000 picks annually. Breaks down to about 50 cents per pick. Every other handicapping service can charge you upwards of $10 per pick. So come check us out over there. We got a great community you can interact with, post your own videos and picks and things like that. We'll let you know how we feel about them, but come check us out, man. sportspicks.locals.com, where we turn the odds in your favor.
Another great show, my friend.
Awesome. I appreciate you having me, man. I always enjoy that. I look forward to this one every week. We get on here and kind of get in our feels and say how we feel about all the stuff going on in the league. I enjoy it, man. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, love having you on, man. It's definitely bringing a different kind of like version, a different side of the show, man. It's funny, bro. Hey, only in this great country, you got to have a guy from Tennessee and a Cuban doing a sports talk show. You know what I'm saying, dude?
That's right, man. That's
Hey,
right.
man, we are, and we keep it gangster, bro. We may sound a little different, well, a lot different, but however, you got a guy that barely like butchers the language, and you got a guy over here with a nice Southern, charm accent. You know what I'm saying? So we
That's
both
right.
call it like it is, brother.
That's right. Yes, sir. I love it, man. I
All right,
enjoy
my
it.
man. See you next week, my man. And good luck, everybody. Stay hot on your bets. And this is your boy E-Man and your boy Cricket signing out.
See you
Peace.
next Tuesday.
You got it.
Yo!